Ahead in the Glasshouse, the wedding of the year.
Nicole, remember me? We went for a drink once.
Boring.
Welcome to the Glasshouse, the program that asks the question, now Nicole's married an arrogant American movie star and a dodgy Australian rock star. Do you think deep down she just wants Russell Crowe? More news than a World Cup no one cares about anymore this week. The government is having a big internal stoush over changes to asylum seeker laws, with a handful of rebel backbenchers taking on the white Australian majority. Here's what that well-known humanitarian Wilson Tuckey had to say.
If you think this legislation should be chucked out and you want people from all over the world living in your street, well, you tell me.
What a tuckwit. Dear Mr Tuckey, we don't want you living in our street. Signed, Indigenous Australians. As backbenchers do the happy dance over a pay rise of almost $8 grand a year, junior MPs are still complaining they're being ripped off by the new superannuation scheme. Poor little MPs. Low pay, lousy working conditions, retirement worries. Sounds like you need a union. In Manchester, a 5-year-old girl has come out of a coma after the radio played James Blunt's You're Beautiful. Apparently her first words were, "Turn that shit off, I'm trying to coma." The government has announced that every Aussie family will be provided with a free internet porn filter. You know what this means? Dads are going to have to ask their kids how to turn it off. Here's the Communications Minister at the launch.
This is the single biggest commitment to protecting families online in the history of the internet in Australia.
Yeah, that's great, Helen. Except while a 6-year-old girl demonstrated how simple the filter was, she managed to call up a list of banned words, including breast, boob, tit, bum, cock, and the big one, you know, the one that rhymes with James Blunt. See, Shannon, I've moved on. Just as Network 10 was acting Big Brother Adults Only, South Australian MP Trish Draper said TV shows which breach the standards code should be pulled off air in 48 hours. Pulled off. Funny. At the moment, it can take 30 days for complaints to get a program off air. Or in our case, 5 years. Congrats!
Apocalyptic news, Wilpon of mass destruction. Politicians in Canberra have been told that the bunkers under Parliament House, where they'll take refuge from a terrorist or nuclear attack, aren't big enough to fit everyone. I can see the end of the world now. The Earth is being taken over by evil zombies. Oh, no, wait, it's just Philip Ruddock. The Prime Minister and Cabinet are assured a place, but junior ministers will have to fight it out or draw straws. And whoever gets the short straw has to sit between Howard and Costello. But the PM told the backbenchers not to worry about drawing straws because he'll decide who comes into the bunker and the manner in which they come.
Angry news this week, angry.
No.
You know, the second richest man in the world, Warren Buffett, is giving most of his fortune away to the richest man in the world, Bill Gates, so he can give it away to charity. It's the biggest suck job I've seen since Paris Hilton's last DVD. Honestly. I mean, he's giving his Warren Buffett, he's a share trader. That's how he made his money. So he's never actually done any work, and he can't even be bothered giving his money away. He's given it to someone else to give it away for him. Mate, you're a disgrace, Warren Buffett. You're 75 years old anyway. You don't need your billions of dollars. And you're giving it to Bill Gates, the richest man in the world. He's already got a charity worth $40 billion. I mean, it's a charity. It's worth $40 billion. Give me some money, you blood. I'm not giving you money. You're worth a fortune. It's the biggest charity in the world. It's going to be a monopoly. He'll bloody buy out all the other charities, so he's got the biggest and only charity in the world. It's great. Honestly. And you know what Bill Gates' charity does? It's trying to cure diseases. You know, I've got a disease in me computer, Bill. Cure me virus before you cure people's diseases. You're meant to be a computer man, not a bloody charity person. Bloody hell, you made me angry. I'm going to explode!
All right, let's get to it. Joining me, Corinne Dave, to throw some stones in the Glasshouse tonight, the boy commander of Australian stand-up, Justin Hamilton! And the true star of At the Movies with Margaret and David, Margaret Pomerantz! All right, movers and shakers. First up, with the new Superman movie doing big business in the States and opening here tomorrow, there's a debate going on about the similarities between the Man of Steel and Jesus. That's right, he isn't the Man of Steel, he's the man of thou shalt not steal. It's true, Superman is just like Jesus, except it's a bit harder to get the nails in. Come on, Jesus isn't watching. He loves NCIS. But, the similarities are endless. Jesus has 12 super friends, including one called Judas Man, but I wouldn't trust him. His enemy is Lex Lucifer. Jesus used to wear his undies over his tights too. And Superman can only be killed by kryptonite, while Jesus was killed on crucifixion night. Justin, you're a comic book guy. Is Superman our saviour?
I think so. I think he's a good role model for kids. He's got these superpowers. He does good things. It's a simple world. Batman took on the persona of a bat because when he was a kid, he was afraid of bats. That wouldn't work for me because when I was a kid, I was afraid of sock puppets. I don't think Sock Puppet Man's going to scare anyone.
Did it scare me, Jess? All I'm saying
big
is...
button eye?
No, I'm just seeing you dressed like the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Really?
With just, you know...
Are you flirting?
The one sock.
Really?
But a little sock. Like an anklet.
But when you wanted to fight crime, you'd have to go up and away!
Give it a shot. You know, what's interesting is they're talking about Superman being gay, and I don't think he's gay at all.
What, just in this movie or overall?
There's this big gay
Has
conspiracy.
he been spotted on Oxford Street at Mardi Gras or something?
You know, there's one bit of proof that he isn't gay.
What's that?
Because Superman can keep a secret. And all of my gay friends cannot keep secrets. He'd be out going, oh, you know, Batman, guess what? Bruce Wayne, I shouldn't have done that.
But he never actually... Is he consummated his relationship with Lois?
Yeah, they did it, and it was faster than a speeding bullet.
But don't you feel better because Superman's in the world? I sort of feel...
You know he's made up, Margaret.
You know that I know.
The movie show has taken over your life, hasn't it?
Margaret thinks they're all documentaries.
I like the romanticism of that music makes me believe that there is this force for good and that all bad things can be fixed. I want to go into the movies and believe that. Just for 2 hours.
I agree.
So you like a feel-good movie? Because there's a lot.
Well, I think that you know, they're mythic figures, and I think they're being originated because of some need in us to make us feel that it's going to be all right in the world.
Yeah.
You know,
and Jesus is kind of a religious Superman, isn't he?
Yeah. And Jesus, he's in all of us. Maybe Superman. We've all got Superman in us as well, maybe. Maybe we should start wearing underwear on the outside. We're starting to, you know... I don't know.
You say you don't take drugs.
No, I don't take drugs, but I experience life on my own level. And I mean, I used to wear the towel around my neck and go like that as well, you know.
Yeah.
As a kid, it got me through a lot of hard times, you know.
Well, what do you think of this? Like, there is a lot of comic book movies at the moment, isn't there? Like, is this a good trend for cinema? Is this a bad trend, all these comic book movies?
Oh, I think sometimes it shows a paucity of ideas because, I mean, the characters are not wildly well developed. And...
No, they're not many of those movies will use the word paucity either, I don't think.
You're taking the piss out of me.
That's a great word, paucity.
Dave's never heard it before.
Well, I have, but I've never understood it before. Now it means...
He thought it was like, oh, that's Adelaide, that's a poor city. Our next movers and shakers are the world's most famous newlyweds, the elegant Nicole Kidman. My God, her pubes must be massive. And the stylish Keith Urban. The bride looked radiant and the groom looked, well, scruffy. You'd think he'd shave for his own wedding. I guarantee Nicole did. Still, Sunday was a magical day. According to The Australian, as she was driven to the church in the back of a Rolls, Kidman's face was partly obscured by a veil, her lap covered with roses. There was something Princess Diana about it. Thank God they didn't take the Harbour Tunnel. The guests were a who's who of Aussiewood, including Naomi Watts, Hugh Jackman, Baz Luhrmann and Russell Crowe. And afterwards, everyone threw confetti and rice, except Russell, who threw punches and phones. Dave, you're a big romantic teddy bear. Didn't you just love the wedding?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great, yeah. I say good luck to them. I say, yeah, good, yeah, I do say that.
You know what I found amazing was that there was all that footage of Nicole going to the church and that, like, the road was just lined with paparazzi. There was a squillion people there, and yet every news broadcast showed the exact same shot of her sitting in there going, like that. I saw that, I reckon, about 20 times.
Well, you know, they weren't... No one was allowed to bring cameras into the actual wedding, even phones. You weren't allowed to have a phone.
But I think that's your right, you know. I mean, if I were Nicole, I would want something intensely private too. Yeah, exactly. With 220 of my best friends.
I'd be happy to give them their privacy. I hate weddings. I get this now.
I'm a girl, I love weddings.
What? Yes, so do I.
Oh, OK. Well, don't you get the friends now telling you to get married? Have you had that? I've had that. I get the friends say, when are you going to grow up and get married? When are you going to grow up and get married? I tell them when I have a nervous breakdown and figure I've got nothing else to live for. That's when I'm going to do it.
Justin, calm down. Calm down, all right? I don't want to hear that.
I understand. This is in my face all the time.
Justin, you might not know this, Justin, but you just got an announcement.
I had... Yes, all right? I got engaged the other day.
Congratulations.
Yeah, eventually...
I'm talking about all my other friends. Not you.
Eventually you'll feel it too, all right?
Really?
You'll feel it, yes. You'll feel the pressure just break you down. I did. We had a holiday up at Ayers Rock and that, and the moment hit me. I thought, yeah, you know, maybe now, yeah.
Yeah, but explain exactly where you were when you decided to pop the question,
Well,
Dave.
the moment occurred to me when I was at a cafe, and I thought, oh, no, I'm not bending down here. And then we were driving to the airport, and I'm going, oh, God, I want to ask. And I said, oh, where do you want to go on your honeymoon, sweetie? And she said, well, that's never going to happen. And I said, do you want to get married? And we had the ABC on the radio.
Driving to the airport.
Driving to the airport.
You were so you were actually...
I was actually driving...
So you didn't make eye contact?
Yeah, and we're in the Northern Territory. I was doing 140 up there. You know what I realise that is they just go. I mean, it makes girls happy.
Girls love weddings. I mean, that's a massive generalisation, but girls, I love weddings. Like I said, I love seeing other people happy. So you get a real kick out of seeing two people standing out there being really in love, and you go, oh, she is right. This is why I'm not married. I love you. I love you.
2 days though, and she's gone. Oh no, 4 days. She's gone insane. Just organising the wedding. She's on the internet all the time now, just looking stuff up. I mean, I cannot look up porn at all anymore.
You'll have plenty of years for that when you're married.
You got plans for the Bucks party, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing? You and me, eh?
We've been planning this our whole life.
Our favourite mover and shaker this week is Entertainment Weekly magazine, which has named Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ as the most controversial film of all time. Well, at least until The Last Temptation of Scooby-Doo comes out. Number 4 is Deep Throat, the 1972 porn movie, which was supposed to be a comedy. And it's true, Deep Throat is a gag fest. Number 8 is Natural Born Killers, which was blamed for inspiring a dozen copycat murders, although that figure was surpassed by all the people who thought about the Da Vinci Code while driving and fell asleep at the wheel. So the 3 sure ways to controversy are religion, extreme violence and sex. The only chance a film has of topping Mel's effort is if it involves L. Ron Hubbard shagging Paris Hilton to death. Margaret, you've seen that movie. What's your pick for a controversial flick?
Well, I think Last Temptations won. But, I mean, what makes a film controversial? Surely, you know, OK, content, but it's people's reaction to that content that makes it controversial.
Have you seen films, though, you thought that is disgusting, that should not be in a film?
Well, I walked out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake because I thought that was pretty disgusting, actually.
Yeah.
That was just...
At what point? What did you think you were going to get when you walked in there?
Well, I thought it'd be violent. but this was just so
tasteful Chainsaw Massacre.
But the original was really clever, and this was just a cheap imitation. And I think if you're going to remake some fairly shoddy original, you know, that had a certain panache, you got to do it.
Yeah, better than that.
Well, absolutely.
Sure.
Have you ever given anything no stars?
I mean, there are so few films that reach the big screen that are that terrible. But there are a few, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And there's that Argentinian film about the guy and the dog, Bombay El Perro. That no personality in the dog, no personality in the man. And they didn't have a relationship. It was unbelievable.
It was a boring dog.
It was a completely uncharismatic dog.
Well, that's ridiculous.
No,
one-dimensional dog.
The thing is, it's like the second Hannibal Lecter movie. What was it called? Silence of the Lambs. Die with a Vengeance, or whatever.
Hannibal, it was called Hannibal.
Hannibal, yeah. And that bit where they sliced off...
I love that the movie expert was the only person who didn't put forward an opinion there.
Well, probably Margaret was the only person smart enough to not bother watching it.
No, but I mean, that was controversial, the brain eating.
The brain eating thing. I found that just really annoyed me because it was just so gratuitous and pointless, and you just looked and went, this is obviously, you know, watching the movie go, this is one of the shittest movies I've ever seen. And they put that scene in because they knew it was a stinker, and they were desperately hoping if they did something controversial, people would go along to see it.
But, I mean, there was a controversy about that, because that was actually given an M rating, or an MA rating, yes. And a certain film critic objected to the rating of
Was
that.
it David Stratton?
No, it wasn't.
Was it you?
No, it shall remain nameless.
Some card, basically.
But that got an R, you know, eventually. Now, I think that scene was so over the top.
Yeah,
it was
ridiculous.
Obviously not meant to be real. And to take it seriously is stupid.
But you do like, you don't mind a movie that gets a bit, you know, controversial, do you? Because, like, every time there's some nudie flick that they want to ban here, you know, that gets like, controversial and they're always banning. You're the first person out on the streets going, you know, let's watch this nudie flick, aren't you? I love it. I think it's great, but it was always like, Margaret wants 2 thumbs up. No, you know, it's like...
I'm fighting for...
What are you fighting for?
Well, I'm fighting for the ability of filmmakers to show real sex on screen.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
it's freedom of
beautiful,
expression
isn't it?
as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
No one gets
I mean,
hurt.
I don't see why porn should have the prerogative over real sex. I mean, I find it odd that we've got a country where the only way you're allowed to watch real sex is if you get it in a brown paper bag and you sit in your lounge room and jerk off to it or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
Margaret
don't
Pomeranz
do
just
that.
said jerk off. That's awesome. That's great.
And you're also stereotyping people who watch porn. I object.
You're
to-
the expert.
Yes.
What happens?
You sit there respectfully and you think, yes, they're really enjoying themselves, aren't they? Might try that move out at myself later on. With a partner who loves me.
It's a reference tool.
It's a reference tool.
Maybe the two of you two could do an adult movie show. And every week it comes on after the movie show and you just
idea.
review...
Now, have you ever seen an adult movie that you thought was a good movie? Like, you know, like...
I don't have time to watch porn.
No. You can watch it fairly quickly.
You don't watch the whole porn in one go, do you? You just...
No, you have edit points. I'm getting married. This is ridiculous to be speaking.
Later in the Glasshouse, Family First Senator Steve Fielding announces the latest standings in the mistreating West Papuans competition.
Australia first and Indonesia second.
Rising star Bill Shorten comes up with a new, polite way to refer to the Labor Party caucus.
The group of people gathered here today are very special.
And John Howard fakes his very best orgasm.
Oh, yes.
Long time ago in a glass house far, far away, we asked you to create a segment for the show. Well, we haven't done it for ages, and we may never do it again. But we're doing it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you... We don't know Kate's last name, but you can just tell she's beautiful and talented. We love you, Kate. Her idea is Celebrity Match of the Week. As Nicole and Keith boot scoot off into the sunset, who do you think would make the perfect couple? Corinne?
The World Cup soccer umpires and an optometrist.
I like it.
There was some spectacular umpiring going on, wasn't there?
Yeah, and that Italian soccer player and the best actor at the Logies Award.
Oh, yeah.
I love that you're getting into sport, Corinne. That makes you very sexy.
Does it? I don't mind a bit of soccer. Soccer and V8 supercars.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah. But you've always known that, like the supercars.
I did know that, yeah, that's true, yeah, well done.
Chelsea, you got a match for the week?
I would like to see Angela Bishop with Japan, because that's one of God's creatures that I wouldn't mind the Japanese harpooning.
Stop it!
What? I don't know.
I do! Stop it!
Margaret, you got one?
Well, I thought Gus Hiddink and Harry Kewell, because they both have the same taste in tracksuits and they look cute sitting on the sideline together.
So does John Howard, though. So.
I like Harry Kewell and Matt Shervington because they're the two groins that have captivated this country.
I wasn't happy seeing John Howard in his Aussie tracksuit watching the soccer, because you know what happens when you get excited in a tracksuit. Yeah, but I would say John Howard and Sulian Bang Bang, whatever his last name is, because they met on the beach and apparently their relationship thawed. I don't think Johnny Howard's ever met a Bang Bang on the beach before.
I would like Bang Bang to hook up with the lead singer U2 just because I'd like his name to be Bono Yudhoyono. Yes, it's time to award the Coveted Glasshouse Trophy, which this week is called... The winner of the Loopy Snoopy Droopy Groupie is a pet beagle in Florida who saved her owner's life by using a mobile phone to call paramedics after he collapsed. When Kevin Weaver had a diabetic seizure and passed out, Belle the Beagle took his mobile in her mouth and pressed the 9 key, which was programmed to dial 911. Please state the nature of the emergency. He's right where it is. See, that dog would have been good in that film, yeah? So the trophy goes to Belle, the sugar-snorting beagle. It's a great story. Most dogs finding their owner flailing about on the floor wouldn't act like that. They'd simply wait till he stopped moving, then eat him. Well, that's the way it is for Wednesday, June the 28th. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Justin. And let's take a look at tomorrow's headlines. The Canberra Times reports US may use force against North Korea. John Howard says, right behind you we are. According to USA Today, Tom Cruise sends best wishes to Nicole and Keith, but telepathy won't work through tinfoil hats. The UK Mail says Australia obsessed with football and celebrity wedding. Realise with horror, we've turned into England. And in the Australian, PM pulls no punches in meetings with Yudi Ono. You broke up the Beatles and your solo albums are crap. Good night.